Hello and welcome back. We're taking a break from talking Oscars because these are my final Emmy predictions in major categories. From memory. Pray for me, and if I get through this, subscribe because from memory. Yeah. I I'm a blind film critic, so that would also add some diversity to the list of YouTube channels. And I think I'm pretty good at this because if it feels too safe, you probably did it wrong. Because every morning there are always those lists of snubs, and there are those lists of snubs for a reason. Because there's always like a couple people out there, or there are always a couple people out there that are just like, oh my god, I can't believe so and so. We all thought so and so was getting nominated. I am heartbroken. And lists like that exist because we don't actually know how they're voting. So, as we get into this is my prediction of Crazy Town by the Emmys. This is what I think. This is what I got, and I'm gonna try desperately to remember every nominee in every category. Before we kick it off, I'm not going to do guest categories, but I do want to say that I am making the bold prediction because she changed my life forever. And I don't really care whether or not she gets nominated or not, but I feel like if she changed my life the way she changed it, like if she changed everybody else's life, then I think Patty Guggenheim gets a nomination for Guest Actress in a Comedy Series for She-Hulk. So, that I'm just putting that out there. I'm not jumping into any other guest races, but I do want to say that's the type of person I am. I am absolutely. I think that might be a wish prediction. I think I just really want to see that happen. But yeah, so we'll kick it off with drama series, and these are in no particular order. These are in the order of word vomit. This is me word vomiting all over this. So, best drama series. And I'm going with Succession, White Lotus, House of the Dragon, Handmaid's Tale, The Last of Us, Better Call Saul, Yellow Jackets, and The Crown. Yep, those are my 8. I am wearing a previous drama series nominee on my t-shirt, Stranger Things, to help me channel. My shirt says Stranger Things for those of you who are blind and watch my channel. And yeah, I think those are the 8. A lot of people have thrown Handmaid's Tale to the side. They discarded it. They're like, we have different television now. The problem with that is we don't actually know that they're watching the new shows. I don't actually know that they're watching Andor. And ever since we tried to put Yellowstone in this category year after year after year, and Emmy voters just keep going, no. I don't like to predict new things unless I'm super certain, unless there's a reason for it. And I feel really good about House of the Dragon coming out of Game of Thrones. I feel like it's grandfathered in because it's part of that franchise. So I think they see it legitimately. And I think Last of Us is in that too big to fail category. It was such a massive phenomenon that how could they not nominate it? Because sometimes they give, even if they don't give it a lot of nominations, they'll give a pop culture phenomenon nomination. I'll call it that. And it's when you see a nomination for series, for how The Boys got nominated for series, even though it got no acting nominations. Same thing happened for Cobra Kai. It's they were okay, so these are shows that are having a moment right now, and we have to nominate them. Even though they don't make an impact anywhere else in the race, they at least make an impact in series. So even if the actors for some reason got shut out from those shows, I would feel really confident about them in series. And yes, I'm sticking with Handmaid's Tale. Actually, the one I'd love to drop is The Crown, and the one I'd love to put in isn't even Andor. It isn't any other thing that you would think about. It's For All Mankind. If I could bring For All Mankind into this race, that would be great. I would also love if The Boys actually did get a nomination for its second season, but I would just love to hear For All Mankind getting some love. Um, I don't know. It just doesn't get talked about at all. At least we talk about Yellowstone, so we know that they are hearing it and they're saying no. I don't even hear people talking about For All Mankind, but I know it has fans, which is weird. Anyway, Best Actor in a Drama Series, and my nominees are Jeremy Strong for Succession, Kieran Culkin for Succession, Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, Jeff Bridges for The Old Man, Diego Luna for Andor, and not Brian Cox for Succession. Yeah. I am not. I do not. I think putting him in for lead is a bit of a stretch. At this point, I think he wasn't in that much of the season. I'm such a huge fan of Brian Cox, and like probably more so than the Emmy voter. And I would love to see him. And I think if he was running in supporting, I would absolutely put him there. And I think he would win. I think he'd beat Matthew McFadden for in that race. But here, I can't do it. I can't put him in there for Succession. So ultimately, my last one is Pedro Pascal for The Last of Us. Yeah. Sorry, Brian. I love you. All right, so Best Actress in a and I don't think there's a shot for anybody else. I already have somebody out of the race that most people have in. I don't really see there being a path to victory for anybody else in that category. Maybe Patty Considine as a total surprise would be it. So Best Actress in a Drama Series, very dramatic. Melanie Linsky for Yellow Jackets, Sarah Snook for Succession, Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us. I'm going to pray that they are not thinking about her age when they're voting for her. I'm going to go with everybody else, and we're all going to just hold hands, and we're going to take this leap together. Imelda Staunton for The Crown, Elizabeth Moss for The Handmaid's Tale, and Emma Darcy for House of the Dragon. Yes, I'm going with Emma Darcy. I've heard a lot of debate about Kerry Russell for The Diplomats. I've seen The Diplomat. I think it's good. I think it needs growth. I think Kerry Russell for The Diplomat, I don't think she is as good as she is in The Americans, which is something that like a narrative that I've heard being pushed. I think she's good in The Diplomat. I just don't know. I don't know if she gets in. However, I would say if somebody, who do I think is the spoiler here? I think it's Kerry Russell. So yeah, I don't think it's Helen Mirren. When Emmy voters start voting for Taylor Sheridan shows, then we can start talking about them. But until such time, please stop talking about Taylor Sheridan shows. We're gonna have to wait and see, because he's made a couple of them now, and they're not getting nominated. So stop just assuming that because he put Helen Mirren in them, that suddenly that's going to get him a nomination. Yeah, I don't know. They have an aversion to him or something. It's weird. So supporting actor in a drama series. We've got Matthew McFadden for Succession, Nicholas Braun for Succession, Alexander Skarsgård for Succession, Alan Ruck for Succession, Giancarlo Esposito for Better Call Saul, Bradley Whitford for The Handmaid's Tale, Matt Smith for House of the Dragon, and my last one is it's not F. Murray Abraham. I'll tell you that. While I'm thinking about that, I think his chances Uh, did people read the news? What is the Hollywood gossip on him? I have a really hard time putting him into this race. Um, and I didn't squeeze Jonathan Banks in here from Better Call Saul. Uh, I think I think the category is too tight, even though I can't remember my eighth place spots right now, which is killing me. This is why to do this from memory. We are going to just say get and move on in a second. Someone is nominated in the eighth place spots, and it's not those actors. It is not anyone from. I have 4 Succession actors. I have a Better Call Saul actor. I don't have any. I think White Lotus has to struggle with the fact that it's not limited series and now it has to share some space. So I really wish it was still considered limited. I don't think that the one character thing should make it not limited. But here we are. So I think if it was in limited this year, it would clean up again. But now that it has to face drama series, it cannot clean up. So, yeah, I don't know who my last nominee is, but yeah, I will move on from that. Number supporting actress in a drama series is what's up next. And here, God help me, Rhea Seehorn and Carol Burnett, both from Better Call Saul. Elizabeth Debicki from The Crown. I went with Yvonne Strahovski from The Handmaid's Tale. I went with Jennifer Coolidge and Aubrey Plaza from The White Lotus. I went with Olivia Cooke from House of the Dragon. I know that that's not going to be a popular one because I put her in over J. Smith Cameron, which is going to cause some people to be like, I don't understand. Why don't you think Succession? And it's like, I don't know. I just saw J. Smith's work this season, and I mean, they kind of wrote her out of the series. I mean, she's barely in it. There's some people who are considered for Succession now that I'm like, I don't know. Did you have that much screen time? What are we doing here? Anyway, and the last spot is Christina Ricci for Yellow Jackets. So, that's everything except whoever the heck is my 8th Best Supporting Actor nominee. Rest in peace, whoever you are. I can't remember you, but I'm sure you did a great job, and there's a reason why I predicted you in that category. Oh, it's John Lithgow for The Old Man. There we go. If you're still with me, it was John Lithgow for The Old Man. I remembered it now. All right, comedy series. See, I'm here. Everything's upstairs. Comedy series. I'm going with Ted Lasso, The Marvelous Miss Maisel. I am going with Atlanta. I know that's going to make it interesting. You're already thinking, oh shit, which one did he drop? Which show? And Barry, all of which are in their final seasons. I picked 2 new shows, which is a gamble. So I've got both The Bear and Wednesday. I think they're going to go with that. And I got 2 returning shows that are not ending, which are Only Murders in the Building and Abbott Elementary. So, yeah, I picked Atlanta over Shrinking. I picked Atlanta over Poker Face. There are unknown quantities. Atlanta has previously been nominated for this award. I think, if I'm right, I think they have 2 seasons in consideration. I think the way Atlanta did their release, they released the last 2 seasons pretty back to back, and that last season was pretty great. I don't know why they would stop watching that just so they can nominate Shrinking. I don't know why they would say goodbye to Atlanta on its final season and not nominate it along with everything else. I think if there's something that's weak here, it might actually be Only Murders in the Building. Yeah. I feel actually pretty good about Atlanta. It's not even in my 8th place spot. So, Anyway, moving on. But I guess Shrinking and Poker Face are the runner-ups. I would love to say the other two is a runner-up, and I'd love to see it get nominated. Unfortunately, the pieces of shit who make decisions. Yeah, we're gonna get harsh here for a second. They waited until the day after Emmy voting closed to announce that that was the final season of the other two. They waited until basically it was the drop of the final episode. And it was like, what? I'm sorry, what? What did you just... You waited until Emmy voting closed to say, by the way, you can't vote for us again? I don't understand. Please explain. Please explain the logic behind that. Everybody else is running on final season fumes, and you waited until the last minute to be like, it's the last season, guys. Sorry, we're ending creatively, just like everything else. I hated that. I'm so mad. Best Actor. Now, we lost a nominee here. There's only 5. And I toyed around with this one a lot. Originally, I was zigging one way, and now I've zagged the other way. I'm playing it safe, and I'm just going with Jeremy Allen White for The Bear, Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso, Bill Hader for Barry, Steve Martin for Only Murders in the Building, Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building. I was trying to, when I had a 6th spot, I was trying to be radical and say John Larroquette sneaks in for Night Court because he's previously won and been nominated for that role, and I think a lot of people are undercutting that. It got a 2nd season renewal on like its 2nd episode. It was like the highest rated like network show or whatever, and it's like revitalized NBC's lineup and all that bullshit. He's a legend. I could see them just giving that being the only nomination for Night Court, and everybody just being, oh my god, shocked. These are the same voters that nominated Keenan for Keenan. So, let me just... Anyway. So, yes, I do think that's possible. However, I'm just going to play it safe. And, yep, 5 nominees I think they don't make. I don't think him and Jason Segel and Donald Glover, I don't think they make it. Best Actress in a Comedy Series. I think this is going to go to Rachel Brosnahan, Quinta Brunson. I think this goes to Jenna Ortega for Wednesday. I do think that this goes to Natasha Lyonne from Poker Face, and I think this is Christina Applegate from Dead to Me. I'm leaving out Selena Gomez. A lot of people think Selena Gomez is making it because people are making more of an effort to vote for her. What if she wasn't a mistake? We assume she was a mistake. What if it wasn't a mistake? What if voters intentionally just don't like her performance? See, you're making a huge gamble here. Whereas Natasha Lyonne has been nominated twice for Russian Doll. So I think even if Poker Face, even if Peacock, which has not garnered a nomination so far in a major category, even if they can't get Poker Face to series, I think they can get Natasha Lyonne at least as their first major nomination for actress in a comedy series for Poker Face. So I went with Natasha. Even if I went with 6 at this point, I would pick Elle Fanning for The Great. We need more nominees in these categories because there's so many great performances that are being left out. It's like you could easily do 10 and you'd have 5 more great performances in these categories and nobody would bat an eye because the performances are worth it. Helen York for the other two has never been nominated. Cecily Strong for Schmigadoon. I mean, I could just go down the list. Might give an opportunity for Linda Cardellini to be nominated for the final season of Dead to Me. So many other reasons to do more nominees instead of less. It's still interesting, but it actually represents a wider range of shows and makes the audience, the people who are watching the show, feel like they're watching a wider range of shows. So, like, oh, I do watch some of those shows instead of, oh, we've limited the amount of nominees and I don't watch any of them. Anyway, supporting actor in a comedy series. I've got 2 from Barry. I've got Henry Winkler and Anthony Carrigan. I do only have 1 from Ted Lasso, and that's Brett Goldstein. I only have one from Marvelous Miss Maisel, although if he wasn't constantly standing in the shadows of Tony Shalhoub, I do think the actor that plays Joel deserves a nomination, but I only have Tony Shalhoub in this category. This is 7, by the way. We lost a supporting actor spot, too. I do have Harrison Ford from Shrinking. I do have Tyler James Williams from Abbott Elementary, who everybody thinks is going to win. Please God, the straight man never wins for comedy series. John Krasinski was never the front runner for The Office for that very reason. Anyway, it's supposed to be everybody but him. I mean, great. He's making inroute for the straight man in these quirky comedy series, but it's so weird to see him be the front runner. It's so weird to see the straight man being the front runner. And finally, I'm going rogue here, and I'm sticking with Brian Tyree Henry for Atlanta. I think him coming off of his Oscar nomination, I think he's having a moment, and I think people are going to vote for him. I don't think Atlanta is weak. I think it's strong. I think people still love it and still watch it and still respect it. So, anyway, I don't think there's enough space for Donald Glover, but I think there might be enough space for Brian down here. So, and if this was a different year, I might say Lakeith. Like, if this was Lakeith's year coming out of his Judas and the Black Messiah nomination, I might say Lakeith in this category. But I think Brian is just on top of the world right now. He's in that Hulu limited series, so he just has more exposure. Coming up next on the list is Best Supporting Actress. And this one is fun. I have Ayo Edebiri from The Bear. I didn't put anybody in supporting actor from The Bear. I know that might be a mistake, but I really fucking hate that cousin in The Bear. I think he annoys the shit out of me, and I don't want him to get an Emmy nomination. Plus, I think it's a tight race. Maybe he would get it if there were 8. I just don't know. I don't know. The season 2 phenomenon that everybody keeps talking about, we look at Only Murders in the Building. It's like it didn't get Selena Gomez to Best Actress, so why would it get more people from The Bear nominated than previously would have been? So I just don't think so. Anyway, Ayo Edebiri from The Bear. I've got 3 Abbott ladies: Janelle James, Lisa Ann Walter, and Shirley Ralph, all from Abbott Elementary. I have got 2 Ted Lasso ladies, Hannah Waddingham and Juno Temple, and then I have Alex Borstein from The Marvelous Miss Maisel. I left out Sarah Goldberg from Barry. I had 8, and I dropped Sarah Goldberg. She's missed out on this nomination previously. I think she's the weakest one. If for some reason somebody on this 7 plus Sarah Goldberg misses out, and somehow Jessica Williams swings into this list, I would be shocked. I think Jessica Williams was hurt by the lack of the 8th nomination. I think Lisa Ann Walter's probably the most vulnerable here, but if Abbott Elementary is really having the moment everybody thinks it's having, I think she gets in. I think the extra nomination spot is either Chris Perfetti gets his nomination in supporting actor, which feels less likely than Lisa Ann Walter getting one for supporting actress. So yeah, that's where my thought is. For best movie, this is really easy. I went with Weird, which is, I don't even think this is the front runner, but everybody else thinks this is the front runner. Roku is unproven in terms of being able to get a show a nomination. So, I don't know. Go with God on that one. Prey, Reality, Fire Island, and I went with Hocus Pocus too. The last time I predicted this category, I talked about how I think it's been revolutionized by what we've done with this category is essentially we no longer have straight to video, and a lot of these movies have huge budgets. The stuff on Disney Plus, some of those films have legitimately massive budgets, way more than a TV movie would have ever had. This category 20 years ago, you drop Peter Pan and Wendy into it, oh my God, that thing wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't even, like, the stuff we're not even considering it anymore. If you look at the stuff that they're tracking, there are like only really one or two traditional TV movie style films even on the list, and one of them is the Dolly Parton thing. A lot of people think Dolly Parton's going to get it. At some point, I think people will stop watching and voting for traditional movies like that. Movies that don't have the same budget. They don't have this weird went to film festivals, I mean, Praise, directed by Dan Trachtenberg. Some of these films, they're in a completely different league. It's so hard for me to say that Dolly Parton's Magical Mountain Christmas gets in here. A lot of people are like, don't bet against Dolly. And I'm like, I want to bet for Dolly, but I think this category is changing. So I'm sticking with Disney getting one of their nominees in there. Interchangeably, I think it could be, I don't know, it could be Peter Pan and Wendy. I even think it could be Pinocchio. But I think Disney Plus has a couple things possible here. I just went with Hocus Pocus. Best limited series. I went with Monster, Beef, the Blackbird, Daisy Jones and the Six, and White House Plumbers. That last one is the wild card. Some people have George and Tammy. My thing is, I don't think anybody's talking about George and Tammy, and I think George and Tammy is an acting show. I don't think it's a thing that you award for show. I also don't think White House Plumbers is, but I also don't think Love and Death is. And the reason I mentioned those two shows is I feel really odd about projecting that HBO does not get a nomination here. There's such a juggernaut in terms of Emmy nominations that for me to bet against them just doesn't sit right with me. So I can't do it. I have to leave White House Plumbers in. I don't know if it's going to happen. Most people are not projecting that. I'll be totally honest with you. But most people seem totally comfortable with HBO not getting a nomination in limited series. This is a category they usually do quite well in. I don't feel good about that. So I think White House Plumbers must, between that and Love and Death, I don't know. I just went with Plumbers. So I didn't like Love and Death. I like Candy better. So best actor in a limited series or movie. I don't have any movie nominees. I don't think any of them are getting in. A lot of people think Daniel Radcliffe gets a nomination here. Cool. It's a spoof movie. It would be like saying I think John C. Reilly's going to get nominated for Walk Hard. He did it was great, but you put that up against Evan Peters from Monster, Steven Yeun from Beef, Steve Carell from The Patient, Taron Egerton from Blackbird, Michael Shannon from George and Tammy, and Jesse Eisenberg from Fleischman is in Trouble. Like, why? Why would you put Daniel Radcliffe into that list? I get you like the movie. I thought he was quirky in it too, but those are the 6 I'm going with. So, anyway. Coming up on Best Actress. Yeah. I've got Jessica Chastain. I've got Elizabeth Olsen. I'm sticking with Emily Blunt from The English. I'm sticking with Belle Powley from A Small Light. I think that was kind of a left field nomination there. I'm going with Riley Keough from Daisy Jones and the Six. And the last spot went to I would love to see it go to Mrs. Davis. Just to be honest, I'd love to see it go to Mrs. Davis. That would be amazing. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Mrs. Davis picks up any nominations. This is not Lizzie Kaplan. This is not Dominique Fishback for Swarm. I think that's hopeful. for Swarm is hoping that people watch that enough to nominate it, and maybe she gets in. I don't know. I just don't think so. It's yeah. I don't know who the last. I can't think of who the last one is. If I come back to it like I did the other one, I finally remembered John Lithgow. I was like, oh my god, I'll say something. But I'm sticking with Bel Powley for Small Light because I think she gets in. I think if you watch that show, the thing is, if voters are trying to watch even a little bit of the show, you got to think about who's good immediately, who is great out of the gate, whose performance just hits you. And some of these people, their performances pick up as the show goes on. Like, I don't think Rachel Weisz for Dead Ringers, I don't think her best performance is in the first episode. But I think with Emily Blunt from The English, I think you have that scene between her and Kieran Hines in the first episode, and it's fantastic. So if you only have time to watch the pilot for The English, I think Emily Blunt gets in. I think people are saying, I don't know who's watching The English. And it's like, I don't know who's watching The English either. But even if you only watch the first episode, she gets in. I think the same thing happens with Dominique Fishback. It's one of those performances you marinate on. So if you have a show that not everybody was watching, I think you have to think about, the long game and think about, okay, so I only had time to watch this many episodes. Well, who's good up front? And that's why I picked some of the people that I picked. Supporting actor in a limited series, I've got Paul Walter Hauser and Ray Liotta from Blackbird. I've got Richard Jenkins from Monster. I am going with Justin Theroux from White House Plumbers. I think he makes the cut. I think that's probably the performance from White House Plumbers that is bringing everybody in. I am going with Murray Bartlett from Welcome to Chippendales. And some other people. You're killing me. I think the problem is with some of these categories, Paul Walter Hauser is going to win. So I kind of wrote off, I kind of don't care. The supporting actress in limited is even harder for me because that's Niecy Nash and 6 people who are not Niecy Nash. And I honestly felt that way when I was picking it. I was like, I don't know, Claire Danes for Fleischman is in Trouble. Cool. And I see her getting in. Juliette Lewis from Welcome to Chippendales. Lily Rabe from Love and Death. Sure, I'll give her a spot. Olivia Colman, why not? For Great Expectations. People seem to like her a lot as an actress, and maybe they'll vote for her. I don't know. From White House Plumbers, Lena Headey from White House Plumbers, and the last spots is somebody equally. Oh, Jennifer Coolidge from The Watcher. And I did remember Kieran Hines in supporting actor in a limited series. I went with him for the very same reason I just said. I can't believe I forgot him. For the very reason I was just saying about his performance right out of the gate. He's only in the first episode. It's basically, there is no guest actor choice here. So from the first episode, the only episode he's in, he's fantastic. He has that great scene. He's Kieran Hines, and it's a long shot. It's a huge long shot. I will admit that, but it's what I went with. They're the B factors, but which one do you pick? I think they're vote splitting too much. I don't think one of them stood out above the rest. That's the problem with the supporting actors and actresses from Beef, is that, Ali Wong. That's who the other one is in Best Actress. I'm figuring all these out on my own. Ali Wong from Beef is my last one. Yeah. Because Ali and Steven just dominate that show, you kind of have either Beef does so well that all of the guys get in, but I don't know which one to pick. So I'm just not picking any of them because I would kick myself if I picked the wrong actor from Beef and left out somebody who did get the nomination. Do you know what I'm saying? If I threw out Murray Bartlett and picked any one of the beef actors, but I picked the wrong beef actor, and then Murray Bartlett also did get the nomination, and somebody else didn't, I'd be like, lost the whole game there, you know? I don't know. It's a great question as to which one of the people, but and same thing with the beef supporting actresses. I don't know if any of them stand out enough to necessarily get that spot. So I think that's everybody. If it's not, I'm sorry, but I love you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And yeah, I think I explained in all of the reasons why I have people in certain places. I did that from memory. I'm so sorry for the gaps, but from memory. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the other side.